3 p.m., ordinary Tuesday. Amanda Stevens, 38 years old, walked into my ER looking tired but not particularly sick. "Doctor, sorry to bother you. I know it's probably silly, but my husband insisted I come." I asked what was wrong. "Bad flu. 3 days now. Not getting better." I reviewed her symptoms: extreme fatigue, constant nausea, pain in her upper back between shoulder blades, slight shortness of breath climbing stairs, mild fever the first day but not anymore. I asked what I always ask in these cases. "Chest pain?" She shook her head. "No, nothing like that. I just feel exhausted, like I ran a marathon. And horrible nausea." I quickly reviewed her history. Marketing executive, mother of 2 young children, no significant medical background, didn't smoke, exercised occasionally, healthy. I looked at Amanda sitting across from me, pale, sweating slightly, despite the air conditioning, and almost told her, "It's viral. Rest, drink fluids, should improve in a few days." I almost sent her home, but something bothered me. Couldn't identify what exactly. Maybe the paleness, maybe the sweat, maybe 30 years of experience whispering that something didn't fit. So I made a decision that would save her life. "Amanda, it's probably flu. But just to be sure, I want to do a quick EKG. Takes 5 minutes." The nurse placed electrodes on Amanda's chest. "Do you really think it's necessary, doctor?" "I feel silly. It's just flu." I smiled reassuringly. "Better safe. 5 minutes and you're out of here." The machine started recording. I expected to see normal rhythm, expected to confirm it was viral and send her home with antivirals. But when I saw the tracing on the screen, my heart stopped. Massive ST segment elevation, deep Q waves, T wave inversion. My brain screamed the word Amanda would never expect to hear. Heart attack. "Amanda," I said in the calmest voice possible, "it's not flu. You're having a heart attack. Right now. Probably for the past 3 days." She looked at me like I'd lost my mind. "What?" "No, doctor. Heart attacks hurt here." She pointed at her chest. "I don't have pain there. I'm just tired and nauseous. It's the flu." I explained quickly. In women, especially young women, heart attacks present differently. Not crushing chest pain. Instead, extreme fatigue, nausea, back pain, subtle shortness of breath. Symptoms that seem like 1,000 things except heart attack. "Amanda, your coronary artery is blocked. Your heart is dying from lack of oxygen right now. If I'd sent you home 5 minutes ago, you'd probably die in your sleep tonight." I saw terror flood her face. "But I'm 38. I have 2 kids. This can't be happening." I activated code heart attack. The hospital exploded into action. In less than 10 minutes, Amanda was on a gurney heading to cardiac catheterization lab. Her husband Chris arrived running, pale with terror. "Heart attack. How is that possible?" She said it was the flu. Dr. Susan Park, our interventional cardiologist, was already ready. She inserted catheter through femoral artery, advancing it to Amanda's heart. Images on screen showed the problem: left anterior descending artery, what we call the widowmaker, because when it blocks, it kills. 90% obstructed. Massive clot. 3 days with this, Dr. Park murmured. "It's a miracle she's alive." She placed stent, opening the artery. Blood flow restored. But damage was already done. Part of heart muscle had died during those 3 days. Amanda thought she had flu. Chris was crying in waiting room. "Doctor, she told me this morning she felt bad." I told her, "It's just flu. Rest." What if she'd waited 1 more day? I told him the brutal truth. 1 more day, and probably her kids would have woken up next to their dead mom. They'd think she died of flu in the night. He collapsed. Because the line between just the flu and 38-year-old widow leaving 2 orphans had been as thin as an EKG, I almost didn't order. Amanda survived. 2 days in intensive care, then a week recovering. When she could finally talk without tiring, she asked me, "Doctor, how didn't I know? How did I confuse a heart attack with flu?" I explained something few women know. Only 43% of women with heart attack have chest pain. The rest have vague symptoms: fatigue, nausea, back pain, discomfort that seems like flu or indigestion. "And why did this happen to me?" she asked. "I'm 38. I exercise. I'm not overweight." We investigated. Amanda had factors she didn't know: undiagnosed high cholesterol, borderline high blood pressure, never properly measured, family history of heart disease. Her father died of heart attack at 52. She thought it was old men's problem. "Young women don't think about heart attacks," I told her, "and that kills them. Because when they have weird symptoms, they assume flu, stress, anxiety. They go home and die." Amanda cried, thinking about Jake and Lily. Last night I read them a bedtime story. I didn't know my heart was dying while I told them goodnight. I showed her the statistics. Heart disease kills more women than all cancers combined. But women are 50% less likely to receive adequate treatment because neither they nor doctors recognize atypical symptoms. You were lucky, Amanda. Many aren't. 6 months later, Amanda returned to my office for a routine checkup. She looked different, thinner, but stronger, calmer smile. "Doctor, I came to thank you and show you something." She pulled out her phone, showed me a photo of her running half marathon for women's heart disease awareness. "Never ran before the heart attack. Now I run 3 times a week. Eat differently, sleep better, check my pressure, cholesterol, everything." But most importantly, she told me, was the conversation she had with Jake and Lily. I explained that Mom was very sick, that the doctor saved me because he paid attention when something didn't fit, and that they need to know bodies sometimes warn us in strange ways. Jake, now 8, had asked her, "Mom, why did you think it was flu?" Amanda answered, "Because nobody taught me that heart attacks in women look different." Chris had changed too. Now when I say, "I'm tired," he doesn't assume it's nothing. We pay attention. We listen to our bodies. Amanda told me she'd started support group for heart attack survivors, especially young women. There are so many who didn't even know it could happen to them. They think it's old, overweight men smoking cigars. They don't see themselves at risk. I asked if she was afraid. "Every day," she admitted. "But I'm more afraid thinking about all the women who didn't have my luck." 1 year after Amanda's heart attack, I received an email I'll never forget. It was from a woman named Jennifer, 42 years old. "Dr. Michael, you don't know me, but I'm alive because of you and Amanda Stevens." Jennifer had attended Amanda's support group, heard the story. Flu that wasn't flu, extreme fatigue, nausea, back pain. 2 weeks later, Jennifer experienced exactly the same symptoms. A year ago, I would have taken Tylenol and gone to sleep. But I remembered Amanda's story. I went to the hospital. I insisted on EKG, even though the ER doctor looked at me like I was crazy. She was right to insist. Heart attack in progress. Saved because she knew the symptoms Amanda had shared. Amanda gave me my life back without knowing it. I showed Amanda the email at her next checkup. She cried. "See, doctor? One life. If just one more woman recognizes symptoms from my story, it was worth it all. The fear, recovery, trauma. But it wasn't just one. Over the next 2 years, I learned of 5 more women from Amanda's group who recognized their own heart attacks in time. 5 lives. And those 5 women told their stories to others. The multiplying effect. All because one ordinary day, I decided to do an EKG just to be sure, on a woman who seemed to have flu. And because Amanda decided that almost dying wouldn't be in vain. Today, 3 years later, Amanda Stevens is alive. Her kids are 11 and 9. She saw Jake win his first soccer game, saw Lily learn to read. Simple moments she would have missed if she'd gone home that Tuesday saying, "It's just the flu." I'm Dr. Michael. I've treated thousands of heart attacks in my career. But Amanda's case changed me. Now, when a young woman comes in saying, "just the flu," I pay different attention. Because I learned that women die from heart attacks they don't recognize. The symptoms they must know: extreme fatigue without explanation, persistent nausea, pain between shoulder blades, subtle shortness of breath, cold sweat. Not dramatic chest pain like in movies, but subtle signals that seem like 1,000 things except what they really are. If you're a woman and feel these symptoms, especially if you have family history, high cholesterol, elevated pressure, don't assume it's flu. Don't wait for it to improve. Demand EKG. Insist. Your life may depend on it. Amanda almost died because nobody, not her husband, not her previous doctors, thought a 38-year-old woman could be having a heart attack. She was lucky. I paid attention to something that didn't fit. But every day, young women die in their homes thinking they have flu. If this story saves even one life, then sharing was right. Subscribe, because every week I share cases that can save your life. Because sometimes it's not just the flu, and knowing the difference is literally the difference between life and death.